It's showtime. Welcome to the roundup for the quarterfinals of the 2024 TAC Championship, as you can see in this little box here. And I'm going to try to do a quick review of every game. Wish me luck. Okay. So all the games are up here so far, except the last Rabbit Boy Pluto game is not yet updated. Pluto won with the second white, so that's a 3-0. Okay, so just going top down. Okay, I have looked at these games before. Oh, interesting. This doesn't... Okay, there we go. Okay. Opposite corners. Willems move a direct press, and here... yeah, we're not going to discuss opening theory too much, but... Okay, center play, so mirror capstones. This can be awkward because you're dedicating that you're going to capture with the capstone, which actually means you're kind of giving up the d3 square, as seen here. But okay, if you play c3, you're basically playing a cross game. No c3, though. And this could be trouble now. If not e2, then e4 minus could maybe give some issues for black, although white's never really threatening to take with cap because you can wall if you're black, maybe. Kind of depends. Okay, so just going in the top, probably like... maybe you can just go vertical and then cut this. Well, Ian decides to get kind of cute with it. Okay, this all makes a lot of sense. Now what are you doing? Are you walling? How are you doing this here? Are you gonna play b5 and then b6 plus? It's a bit slow because of c6 though. Oh yeah, it takes immediately. Oh yeah, I do remember this move now. Um, yeah, this is actually quite important because now after this, there's a4 plus exclam, I think. This is some fancy footwork. You can't wall here because of the threat here. It's just a case where the big stack is giving a lot of trouble. And f1 left doesn't really do anything. So black is in big trouble here after this tactical sequence. This is interesting. Yeah, and here black is just this fancy footwork to take this stack back and win with a road. I mean, black is collapsing though. Like, what are you gonna do? Play this? It's just horrible. It doesn't even work for one thing. So is that just anyway? I suppose it is. Yeah, it has to be because that works. So this just loses on the spot. But even if it didn't, like, white's clearly they're up on reserves, they're up on positions. Just everything's over. I think maybe the lesson here is this middle game maneuver was quite amazing. You can do a lot when you can force your opponent to capture. And here even walls are like not sufficient because of this formation. It's pretty tough. And the real strength here is that this F1 over never works. Although maybe this was actually a better try. I mean, it's so sad though. I don't know. But like obviously the move that black played doesn't inspire a lot of confidence either. And the threats are not even done. yeah, this was quite a impressive tactical game. So now Alien is black. And he chooses to cut the center of the expansion. We get the classical formation. Alien will probably complete it. Oh, no, he doesn't. He plays F4. Interesting. Okay. He gets to complete it anyway, because Mare didn't take it. Okay, Mare has two little posts here, and Alien has a more cohesive formation. Okay, Alien building up the tension eventually. I mean, the problem with this is if you do nothing. I don't know if this is coming right away, but obviously now here is possible. So that's the reinforcement on b5. And obviously this is not great. Although if you can cover e3, maybe it's survivable. But, you know, in this exact position, like this is kind of a nasty threat in the same way that his previous position was. You can't do this necessarily, although maybe this is still playable. But after here, so you're still intact, and like this, here you do lose. So that doesn't work. This is also not very happy. Even this is quite devastating. This formation is just so strong. So I don't think you can allow this. I don't know what the main line is here. Oh, yes. Taking on c3. It takes d4 as a whole. You kind of have to fill, but then after this is was kind of problematic. I don't love that. Because then, yeah, you're just getting walled to death. And this formation, okay, white is up a few reserves, but that's all they've got. And their position otherwise isn't so great. So, how do you proceed with this? Probably just play the vertical. I think I saw this game, so it's sort of cheating to say that. Um, yeah. This crush was kind of nice though. But, just ultimately not enough. Yeah, just continue on this vertical or on this double horizontal threat. But yeah, I guess you just have to take this back. But then you're getting walled anyway, so it's yeah, it's all a mess. I think I didn't love this move necessarily. Can you get away with this? Maybe not. The formation is just too bad, huh? This is never a move you want to play though, so maybe you do have to play what Mare played. Yeah, it's just a case where this d5 minus is just crushing, yeah. Huh. I should pull up the bot analysis just so I give you guys something a bit more concrete here. What's the idea of this game? 637 786. Okay, I'll give you guys the eval bar. I'm feeling generous. This is F3's. This actually it doesn't like white F4, but I mean Tiltac's not to be trusted here. This was a different game. What game is this? What did I search for? 637786. Is this the same game? What is the same game? I'm just crazy, huh? Okay. So, oh no, this was this game. I don't know. He requested an analysis of two games in parallel. Maybe that broke it. Okay, anyway, this was the game we were looking at. B4 exclam? Okay, sure. And yeah, A4. It hates D3 over. I mean, certainly I see why you hate it after this line, right? Tiltak claiming you need SD4 because D5 minus just kills you. It's tough. It's tough. Okay, and let me pull up the last game. We're going to give you the eval bar from now on. So, alien is black. Okay, I mean, so you got to take E3? Maybe? No, they both claim that E3 is pointless. I mean, bot likes it. The bot's claiming CC3. CC3? Really? It's so unintuitive. I don't know. I mean, this is like the classical formation. The problem with this is, oops, is, whatever. Black can always wall you here. I mean, it doesn't make sense in this position, but these capstone and opposition positions tend to be kind of problematic in that way. So I guess I see the F2 is bad. I mean, yeah, you're probably hoping butts a C4. You're probably hoping for something like this. You know, along these lines, and now black has to respond to you. And this weakness is not too bad. The black capstone's isolated. You got your wall or line in the middle. It seems okay. But after this, you're overcommitting to the vertical, I guess, and black is just winning on the bottom. Seems to be the case. Do you play E1? Do you play F4 and try to go down? I mean, E1 looks pretty delicious, yeah. I mean, problem is, so if white plays this, it defeats your E1, but now you can just play the other plan, and this exchange has to be good for you, I think. Or can you do even better? That's probably fine. And if, yeah, okay, so SB2 makes a lot of sense, but it's not a very happy move to play. I mean, you can continue the threat like A2 or something, or Alien just goes ahead with it and takes here. because he just wants to win all those pieces, and he's going to say, okay, game over. Goes up the middle. This is just too slow. I mean, the issue is you can only profit a few pieces here. Like imagine this, this, this. Like you can't even, you already have F1, so you're never profiting off that. So you're flipping this into, from black, black into wall, white. So you're covering two of these and you're getting one of your own. So it's three, but it costs you a 0 to do it. So, it's really, it's pretty rough. And it costs you 1, 2, 3 moves. So it's basically a break-even exchange if you go that way, which is the way you want to go offensively. If you go this way, you can actually do better, but you might get blockaded this way. And like, if we look at this position, okay, like, clearly black is just winning. So let me get to the real position. Okay, B4 is cute, trying to not commit to this or this to either wake up this or this, maybe? I mean, I don't know that white can even take on B3 anyway, but that's a nice thought. Okay, then he just decides to play B3 anyway. Sure. So he gets everything he wants. White does, and then tech, he even baits him this way. Does this lose? I mean, you can crush it. You don't have to, but you can. So, B2 plus played instead. And then we just have a vicious attack. And yeah, this is not what you want. And this is just super winning. Look at this nasty double road around. You can't even play this because here. Yeah, I mean, Alien doesn't even have to win this way, right? But he does. Okay. Okay, going on to Rabbit and Pluto. Diagonal opening, long, or whatever, knight's move, long knight's move. Ah, yes, I remember this game. Okay, so they race, and then CD3 looks fine. Okay, B2, so you're kind of trying to blockade this, but yeah, I have a video of my live reaction of these two games, so I won't go over it in that much detail. So this is a case building up this sort of capture formation, but first pivoting the capstone around because you're forced to. No, that's not true. I mean, oh yes, it is true. Horizontal. So you have to cut the horizontal, then you can kill the vertical with B1 over as he did. Now, interestingly, this is marked as a blunder because the resulting B1 right has become so powerful. The bot thinks you have to defend it. But this is hard to play because on one hand, even like this, and then what are you doing? I guess the good news here is in this position for white, you do have a perfect answer here. You can just crush this. And I mean, okay, black can try to set it up more, but well, okay, there's some, even this is kind of working. So, okay, it's complicated. But after this move, Rabbit has to self-cover. There are other moves. There's this. But, yeah, it's rough. You have this at the least. I don't know. Butts is 2c2 over, which is, I mean, this is kind of inhuman, right? Like allowing this capstone to capture, maybe in some lines. I think going the other way makes more sense, but yeah, all of the moves are kind of troublesome. Okay. So what is building some kind of horizontal? I remember this deep 2 plus was sort of criticized in the game as being or by the spectators, but yeah, just not a lot for white to do. The problem is you're down a bunch of reserves and you have static weaknesses and you're down flats. It's just a bad position. All you can rely on is your counterplay here, and it's just not quite enough. Black can afford to put some walls on the board and just do that, and then Rabbit misses a threat here, but I think they were in quite some trouble anyway. Here we have adjacent corners and an edge crawl from black. I remember this. Pluto goes a5, and this a2 is tough. Like you start going b2 and you end up being kind of disconnected. Like even here, there's here, right? And it takes you quite a few turns to recover from this if you're talking about a pure tempo point of view. So I understand the b3, b2, but here it's tough because I mean, spoiler, white is trying to get this formation with either a2 plus and b4 minus or a2 plus and then like a3 plus. And we can see that black's options are kind of limited here. This capstone is kind of desperation mode capstone. And then here, I thought this was maybe the last or a big mistake because of the extra tempo that white gets out of this variation. Instead, if you play this, I mean, it's still bad, don't get me wrong, but maybe you have a chance, maybe. But the problem is you can see black's 4 pieces or 6 pieces here are not really even contributing to the game because they're cut off by like a single white flat. It's this is the sort of the unfortunate fail state of the edge crawl. But this is the game. They fight a while, and then Rabbit actually gets a little bit back, but in this position, just so many reserves to overcome. I was saying, I think SC4 was a counting mistake, or sort of a resignation. You can fight on a few more moves, but uh, the problem is this white vertical builds, and then you're going to inevitably claim another flat. But you can watch my live stream from that game if you're more interested in that position. Okay. And today's game, we have the center. This B4 is given a question mark. I think generally a very simple guideline is black wants to make the lines kind of squiggly in the center, this like cross-cutting pattern, and white doesn't really want to do that. So I think white volunteering that this may be a slight mistake according to the bot, and I can see it, but it doesn't seem too major. A3 is flagged here. It's hard to really see why, but here the problem becomes apparent, right? After b5 minus, this a4 to the right is kind of an exclam, and you know, you can't take this way because you immediately lose. If you take this way, you know, this is horrible, and this is not great. This is kind of like the last game, the previous game where he had to self-cover on c2, I think that was. So he fights the stack war with b3 plus, but then let's look at how nice this capstone is. And the problem for black is like your threat is too slow and white is just barreling down on you. Pluto even makes it more stack war-esque, which is maybe not fully necessary. And this blockade is decent. But the problem for black is their position is still so scattered. These walls are kind of in their own way a little bit, and like white getting the e2 in here is just tough. Because this is a critical point for both white and black, and you see black is just getting there first, and here even takes another free move before. Oh yeah, I was thinking c1 over as well. This classic cutting pattern. You force white to take, or black to take as well. I mean, I suppose there's this, but letting this out is enough compensation. So, and like if black wins the stack, I mean, they can't even take here, right? So they can't win it quickly, and you know, if they're doing some sort of local capture, it's can be kind of tough. Like even here, like this is pinned. It's kind of relevant. And you know, if you're walling, it's just costing you so much time, and there's a weakness on e2 to contend with as well. So I don't know if you counter wall here, actually, but Pluto making an interesting pivot here. Just trying to cover this at all costs. Spends a full move to do it. Apparently can get away with it. Pluto kind of has just enough again. Although here it's not clear, right? You're playing 11 to 2, or sorry, 11 to 9 plus 2. So you've got to win something. I guess Pluto is claiming they have road threat compensation, though. Which does seem to be the case. Okay, things are kind of collapsing here. Huh. I mean, you have a4 minus if you ever need it. Ooh, this is a nasty tech. Oh, that's a great find by Pluto. That's a great find by Pluto. Look at this. You're saying, look, Buster, you're pinned again, and if you take with either of your walls, you let the beast out. I mean, especially this way is just intolerable, right? Yeah, that's dirty. Oh, this is the actual game? Yikes. Yeah. And then from here, white is sort of cleaning up. And there are a lot of like weaknesses to be captured, but this is a case where like Rabbit just has no pieces on the board. So yeah, even if theoretically every turn he can make a plus, +2 move or something, it's just not enough time in the game to come back. Interesting encounter. I think you know, I think Pluto showed us some fire. I think Pluto showed us some fire those two games. Next, moving on to the most exciting scoreline of the tournament. 2.5, 1.5, not least because we have a draw. It's 308. I have the wrong game. Okay. So Will is white, Tones is black. Classical center opening. E3 gets an exclam. Okay, sure. Tones is just going to build up the middle, say, okay, I've got momentum. And Will's idea is probably something like go here, go here, go here, and then play d4 left at some point. No, he decides not to go with the vertical. He decides to sort of bundle up and take through the center. That makes sense too. And Tones invites him and says, I'm taking d3, but it's a little awkward. Okay, he gets d2 in though. No, he says he wants d5 instead. A4 double question mark. Yeah, this is a case. I mean, it's hard not to play this, right? In some sense, because like it's attack threat, and like what is even the move you're playing? But the game says E2. I think maybe D2 is playable as well, but yeah, Bot says you're actually just encouraging Black to do what they wanted to do anyway because um, they want to play D4 right or C4 right, and yeah, I don't know, maybe. And says that White had to play SD2 here to hold on, which I guess is why I don't like the White position, but this is an overcommitment from Tones, apparently. How are you supposed to play this? Just build on the bottom, and when he takes, you wall him back? That's tough. The PV is E2, C4, right? Wait, what? The PV is this. Okay, yeah, that's... Sure, that's a PV. Okay, what if you do this normally? Then it must be the wall, and Tiltak must be thinking this is not enough for white. And it is tough because, okay, white can get this, but black can be pretty disruptive here. And, from a pure FCD point of view or something, this is not quite enough. So, but after here, I mean, I guess you're never getting anything going here. He's cut and you're a bit slow. And there's a wall here. Yeah, I can see it. But none of that happens because Tones decides to cover his own piece. This makes sense. The bot considers it a blunder, but again, you're going from 21% to 70%. This is saying, slightly, slightly favoring black to slightly favoring white. So this is not the end of the world, and you're going to get walled maybe. No, just the standard D3. Okay, so this is tax, so C3 is forced. And then there, and I guess you're having to capture over. Okay, so the issue, I see the problem. Okay, if you pass, there's some move like this, and you can't take like this because you lose. You can't take like this because you lose. And here, this does this actually work? Well, if like this or whatever, but okay, even if you take normally, no, but then you're back to the wall variation. So maybe you do have to do something like this again after here and here. But then there's this. I'm not sure I believe in this. And there's here. Okay. Something happens in that case. Something happens. I'm confident in saying that. Um, so in the game, I mean, this is similar to what I did. I threw a random piece and then I said D2 plus. Okay. He plays a real move and then does D2 plus. And this gets an exclam from Tiltek for the reasons I was just talking about. But okay. Here, oh, all this happened. Okay. Yeah. All of this happened. Well, okay. Now I feel like it looks like I was just flexing or something. So all this happened except there's a piece on E2. Okay. And even this happened. Okay. And this happened. But now black has a wall here. Okay, C3 is threatened. There's a throw downward that wins a lot of pieces back. So do you self-cover? Oh, you can just take. Yeah, okay. You can just take. Because the smash is not real. This threatens to cut, which would turn the smash on, and is also threatening like just D1 F5. So yeah, this is a little tough. I can see why Tiltak thinks white is favored, not to mention the reserve situation. Okay, D1 stopped, E1. Do you just play F2 and then see what happens? F2, F5, D1 plus. Capture stack war. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Okay, he goes with F1 instead of that. It's kind of the same thing. And Will plays a slower move. Okay, not taking immediately or playing F5. Okay. I mean, I guess the point is after A3, then you're taking. He does play E1 over, which is apparently correct compared to the other one, compared to this one. I guess here is you're in tech again, so like here. This is okay. But, so it would be forced to be a wall, but this is a pretty good wall. And you're not in time to pin this because you don't have F5 yet. So this one instead, so now after a counter capture, so this is tack, and after a counter capture, it's not tack from white. E2 left is apparently correct, seems right. Because now if here you can strand it a bit. I don't know that you would, but you can. So takes here, and Will just takes back, and what do you do here? This is too dangerous, right? This is just. Although you could fight this, and like it's. Oh no, this maybe no, this maybe doesn't work. Here, like if this, you're actually getting crushed. Literally and physically and metaphorically, I guess, right? Well, I mean, here. Oh, but you can't really take back. Huh. Okay, this is complicated. Okay, so Tones decides not to go with that line that looked a little bit sketchy, so he takes here. And Will does this, which makes sense, runs away. Now it takes this wall quite a few moves to actually make it to you, but it starts its journey. And white takes advantage of the fact that this cuts on c2, like I was talking about before, as well. This is an interesting pivot. Okay, but now c2 is... oh, you can't take on c2 because you're pinned. So it takes on d3 instead, right? Right. Okay. Is that attack threat? Not sure. You have this and this. Oh, but okay, this maybe isn't attack, but maybe it's good enough. Oops. I don't know. Some nonsense like that. The point is the cap's starting to crush. Okay, where's the real game? Oh, down here. Right, so Tones is on the back foot. Trading walls. And Black continues to run away. Continues to run away. Okay, because c3 is kind of poisoned, although f3 looks good here. Because now you can't play c3 as black, and the wall on c3 can't even go down, so it's a bit awkward. I guess you can eventually realize that. But, oh wow, he gave up this huge stack, and wow, wow, wow. This is defended because of e3, but you've got to fight the war anyway. Yep. And here, okay, the stack can't really profit by throwing upward, so I mean, he tries his best, but oh, what is this? Okay. Self-cover. How does black draw this game? Man, oh man. This does not look drawable. That's cute. Okay. Yeah, I mean, black's barely temporarily up, but so if white cashes out, they go plus 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's not huge. Okay, and then this, yeah, this is a good move because now you cash out, you only go plus 2. So this is a fine investment of a piece, and maybe white should have cashed out earlier. Yes, and that is what the bot is saying because SF2 is quite good. Here. If you go upward, do you lose? So you become yes. So this never works. Just an instant loss. White plays this to gain a flat, threaten gain of more flats. According to the bot, I mean, what do you do as white here? And this isn't quite enough, right? This is only enough for a draw. And white can lead, he can do some weird stuff. So white cashes out this way and loses, apparently. Because now f3 plus, or f2 plus is too good. And for that reason, we'll resigns back. But if you don't do that, if you give this first... Ah, but no. Oh, that's the key. The key is that you can't leave pieces behind because white's on 1. They just win. So you have to take with everything. And then this is enough. Then you do this. Or whatever. And now... Oh no, it's still not enough. Wait, no. Wait. It's still not enough? Really? Oh no, you have this move. You have this move. That's 1 extra profit, and then there's no time to cash out. Yeah. That's tricky. It's tricky. Wow, great game. I don't mind analyzing this one a little bit longer. This is probably the game of the tournament so far. Probably even deserved more time than I gave it, but you know, we're running on 46 minutes already, so we must move on. So the next game, Tones had white. And this is the game he did not win. So half. And edge crawl, hug. And Will is blocking him up. Okay. So obviously C3 is going to fall if white tries to get too cute, so maybe you need A3. Right. Okay, but he does get A3 in anyway. So now what's the idea? Like B3 minus, C1 left, something like that. This one, yeah. Okay. And if here you're gonna force me to move over or something, and then you're claiming I'm too slow. C6, and he's fighting this. I find that usually this doesn't help. Okay, bot actually wanted my idea, which was C4 and just get white away from it. But I see black's closer to completing the threat now. I see why they wanted to do this. But, but see, okay. Yeah, the issue is, I guess, that, so you're gonna have to take left or something? Okay. Bot wanted E6 left immediately, which is pretty aggressive. I don't know about that. Okay, some crazy wars going on here. Okay. E6 left finally hits, and now what is white's move? Well, this doesn't work, obviously. Looks kind of horrendous. You're just making the stack strong. You don't have time to wall it. And even if you did, you would get crushed because this capstone is not meaningfully pinned. So what are you playing? E5 right or something? Oops. Or yeah, just taking back is the other play. It's okay, this is a similar issue, but it takes back. Now black takes, and white can wall if they want. Chooses to take back instead. Probably prudent. I'm not sure that this wall gets anything done after that move. But what are you playing here? Do you just play d6 and say, come get some? It's what the bot recommends. Instead, Will plays SD6, which does put quite a damper on your own mobility, but hard to see how a human can punish this. Because if you throw straight down, then you're just walking right into the black capstone. So, what's the idea here? Is SD6 such a bad move that you're supposed to cower in the corner and throw to the stack to the left? Feels like that's almost always wrong, but especially with the fact that you can't counterwall B6 either. So what is the move here? I mean, okay, you do have A2. You can throw this in if you really want to. But okay, now what? Now what do you do? Gosh, giving up the stack looks so bad, but I mean, you can try to entomb it, but you probably just lose. After something like this and this, it's just too much. I mean, white does have something, but like these flats are even useful pieces. The other issue. So apparently the suggested move is white A2, A2, right? Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, no one's playing that. But basically just not doing this. I mean, okay, he plays it in the other order. When fighting this way is wrong. You have to, what, play C1? After C1 here, and then you take back? What's the difference? Now, now this is good enough? But I mean, well, there's probably enough comp. Maybe, is it? If you go here, you have to give this up. Oh, but then you're collapsing on the bottom completely. Okay, so you have to like do this and this. But then, okay, if we're just looking at FCD, basically even on reserves, white has a slight edge, but there's weaknesses up here. Yeah, I guess I see why this is better for black, but yeah, it's hard to suggest that in a game. Instead goes here, and I guess you're getting walled right away. This is an interesting run. So I guess if like here, black is gonna cower and just spend everything to defend that stack. Sure. That's tricky, tricky. A2 is apparently wrong. Wants to fight D3. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's cute. The bot suggests playing D3 minus so that black has to flick in taking back, and then you play this. And then there's no 3 stack defending you. Wait, but what if you do it in the other order? Then here and here. Okay. So it doesn't matter? You play this. Oh, you play this first. And then you do it this way? Maybe? Then after this, you're in trouble. Huh. Yeah, okay, never mind, I don't get it. C1 apparently blunders everything away. What is it? You gotta flick an A2 minus. You lose the enormous stack. A wall is apparently wrong. It's hard to call that. It's hard to play this and just invite this piece in. So yeah, I don't know what question mark there. Stack. Just blunders everywhere. I don't even know why. Crazy stack wars. Self-crush. But black's attack is getting too strong. Is there a knockout punch here? This apparently blunders the game away, but then is that forced? It says just do this because you can't be crushed, which is also kind of valid. Yeah, another crazy game, man. Will and Tones really put on a show here. Next game. I remember this game. So this is another hug opening. And this is the game that Tones chooses violence. So the bot hates this play, right? But Tones is going all in on this edge crawl, and the bot is getting confused, then unconfused, and then exclam, question mark, exclam, and he gets this set up. And this is the tough point. He spent a lot of time, maybe not here, he spent a lot of time in the next move, right? But when he was trying to figure out how to break through, a white claims d6 over is already breaking through. But okay, you have to see the follow-up after like this or something, because the whole point is white is... The reason black played f4 was to cut like this. But then what? Here? 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 Okay, but if you allow this, then you're stuck, right? Or is it a loop? But here. Huh. Yeah, so that doesn't seem to really do anything. So what is the point here? The point... it must be this. Or something? But this isn't even tech, right? Because you can't make a road this way. Is this a real threat? No. Still doesn't do anything. Geometry still doesn't work. So, okay, I don't see this. D6 over F. 2 C6 over. D6 over F4 plus 2 6. 6. Ah, this way. Oh, but now... Ah, now you collapse. Because now you don't have the extra piece. It's a rare case where you need to move... You need to move the stack instead of creating a new stack. Because after here, the attack breaks. But if white doesn't have that extra piece, they can't do anything. So it's actually a very odd situation. You need to move the liability to d6, and then your attack works. Yeah, that's kind of that's brilliant. So this is just a tactical shootout, and yeah, I didn't see this idea either. I mean, Tone spent some time and then played f3, I guess, trying to cut f4, right? And then he decides to play defense, and so okay, he's all in obviously on the attack anyway now. And then a5 is reinforced, and then there's a blunder, and there's various Tinue ideas, but they're missed. But then finally b6 over is played, and after this, and then this move, if this doesn't work. So what is the punishment to this? It's is there some... This is what, 1, 2, that's too many white pieces. You can't play that though, you have to leave a white behind there. So you've only got 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's not it. So why can't you take here? Ah, because of well, yeah, because of this orientation. So you throw back so that c6 can't get covered. And then, you know. So after takes, then there's enough firepower. If you don't take back, then there's here. And then what is the... Oh, 3 is already enough. You're making this horizontal, so that's the X-Glam move. Yeah. So this ended up being a tactical shootout. You know, at what point does black loses when he just plays a random flat here? I mean, the issue is you can't even play this because you're getting crushed, right? It's just, you know, it was sort of a game of chicken, and Tones ended up getting the W there. And then, final game of their series. Was a black edge crawl, cut, center, and then capstone here. And what is the pivot away from this? CC4. So this is going to be threatening from white, but if you can put a stop to it, the horizontal is not really working. So I'm going to see if black can put a stop to it. Invest 1 wall, but with 1 wall is kind of all he needs. Gets the job done. I mean, he might have to play another wall if there's another capture, but then that's not so bad. Okay, so keeping it even. D4 is allowing... So Ba wants C3, which... Sure. D1 is kind of interesting. Just SB5 and okay. White has a very nominal lead because black has played 2 walls and not profited at all, and white has the reserve edge, but technically, or has their tempo edge, but technically black is still up in reserves and kind of has the more aggressive position, maybe? Okay, so White tries to make something happen, takes walls, but this is pretty secure. This is defended by a capstone, and the capstone is not pinned in any method, in any way. And he got to slightly profit in doing this, and the D3 stack, you can just cash out. So, okay, they fight a stack war, but, yes, I remember this in the game. Both Tiltak and Will were expecting C4 over, crushing the wall. And then maybe you have more chance because you can do this, and the wall can't move quite as well, but maybe. But Will or Tones plays C4 minus, which is tack, and this is trouble because White doesn't have much, and obviously they're never winning D4 for real. This capstone doesn't even have a single weakness here, and they're head on flat, so I just gotta narrow the reserves a bit and not die in the north. And the black walls are well poised here to help out. And you see this situation is just never anything for Will. He does finally take it, and oh, he manages to take it with tack too. Like, this is probably what he was setting up, right? But yeah, wow. He snuck that out, but I guess it's just not enough. That's tough. It's tough when you get your, wow, okay. But this doesn't really have any profit. And then Will allows a road. So obviously just sort of panicking, but I was trying to calculate this out, I suppose. But Bot agrees it's losing. I mean, after here, you're crushing, and White just, the problem for White is they had to make a bunch of captures in order to reclaim moves, and yeah, Black just is ahead on reserves, and it's kind of too much to overcome. And if you give White this stack, the game is over, right? Yeah, that's tough. So excellent series there. You know, I think that promised to be a good set, Will versus Tones, but frankly, I think they over-delivered what we were expecting. Then finally, me versus Archie. I can give you a little more insight into the player's point of view, and also I've analyzed these games more because I played them, although it has been a little while. Okay, we played standard, except Willem's move is E4, not F4, and I figured, okay, I thought I was out of book, obviously. I'm like, okay, well, there's probably a reason you're supposed to play E4, so I'll take E4. Play this. Bot doesn't like, Bot wants me to go horizontal, but I mean, it seems weird. Of course, I allow CD3, and then I start pivoting. I take the space left behind. And, okay, if I take on D4, I'm getting walled, and then do I have enough comp on the top? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. Instead, I flat, and we do this. I thought we were gonna like dance here because there's some like here, oops, here, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat. And I thought we were gonna do some sort of capstone dance here. But Archie played a wall. I remember I was glad to see this because it seemed like it was money in the bag for me. And then I wasn't sure if I should take, so obviously my idea is I have to stir something up a little bit here. because otherwise black is just going to get to make their threat for free, this horizontal, with the annoying e2 square, and I really can't take on e2 or anything like that. So I want to take over here and make a attack threat. So I ended up taking on b3 instead of c3. I couldn't really decide which was better. And then so he plays this f4 minus, which is the suggested computer move. And obviously this stops my threat, and I've created a weakness, so you'd think, okay, maybe it's not so bad. But there is an issue for black in that they have they're not farther away from making their threat per se, but if they start building this way, and so like whatever, if they start building this way and then I go down, then they could end up being farther away from the threat because they don't have f4 yet. So the loss of the f4 stone is something. Okay. And f5, okay, I decided f5, like I'm gonna go this way and I'm gonna see if I can bait f4, and I don't bait f4. So I get f4 myself, and I thought this was sort of the decisive, I wasn't sure that I was so much better here necessarily, but here I felt like I was starting to be comfortable because when I play f4, then okay, so here's what I want to accomplish. I want to play this and use the b3 stone as an attacker and force, if I force something like this, that's pretty good. Maybe I can even do this, although that might be too heavy an investment. And just like fight this big war or whatever. But I decided he doesn't even have to play ball. He can just do this, right? Because he's got his capstone right there. But if I play f4 first, then he's compelled to go down, and now the same idea doesn't work. I mean, he can do this, but this is a massive, like he concedes an extra piece, so like that's a huge profit for me. So I'm fine if he wants to do that. So at this point, I felt like I had achieved something. So I actually played b4 first instead of going upward. I guess because I figured he could just take on b3, but it's the same idea because I eventually take on b3. And now with the extra piece of b4, no longer does this work, of course. So and then he ends up having to do this anyway. But here I'm threatening to go horizontal again, and we fight a stack war. And I get a big cash out. And he kind of just had to play a bunch of walls. And the issue for him is even though he can kind of take here is there's nothing really stopping me from crushing because like look, if he does, he actually opens up the e3 square, which means my horizontal is working, and if you give me this much firepower, like it's got to be game over, right? Like here, even like this doesn't work, and you can play this. I guess if here, maybe you can make something happen with a clever play like this. But still, just me having this enormous stack is a big problem. Even if I accept this, I just go here. And no, this one doesn't work, obviously. So, sorry, I'm trying to find the real line here. I think there's a button for it, but I can never remember what it is. Instead, he tried to do something cute on the top, and I realized, I was like, this isn't a threat because here it doesn't reach. You can't do this because that's not a attack threat. but I decided to respect it anyway. So I played a5 plus. We were both on short time, and then he missed that was also attack. So, but yeah, so that was that game. Next game, I have black, and he plays a c5 back, and I block. d5 is apparently a mistake. I'm not really sure. He builds this strong citadel in the center, and I play cd3, and he decides to cut me. So this is interesting. I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be kind of hard to make a threat because he can always take on c3 whenever he wants. So I'm not really sure what my of course of action ought to be. So I play b5. Apparently the bot wants me to go like try to snake around on the bottom, which probably in hindsight makes more sense. But I decided to go on top, which it hates. But that's okay. And this was my idea, and was the c3 plus. So this is an important point. I think a lot of classic attack players would play this way, right? You don't make any weaknesses. You're moving with your capstone. It's all fine, right? But here and then, and okay, here, here, and black here maybe. The other thing white can do is just this, and then after here and here. Yeah. The issue is it just seems like black doesn't get anything. Like by giving up d3, it's quite a big concession. So I think the c3 plus is, the bot says the game is even basically, but I was very happy to have found this over the board because it's the kind of move that the old me would not have played. It's just very unintuitive. So there's two ways to fight this stack war. You can take here, you can take here, and you probably do want to take. I mean, you could try to. I mean, if you do something like this, I'm fine, right? I can protect this weakness forever, and you don't have anything really. So Archie takes back this way, and then what do I do? Do I just play d4? SD4. Okay. Okay. So here's the issue with standard d4. There's some play like this, which is pretty annoying. But this is immediately attack. So yeah, SD4. And yeah, white goes up to get the hard cap. I did think about crushing this wall, but it just never seemed to make a lot of sense. So I just avoid letting this piece profit, which apparently the bot doesn't like. It thinks it's unnecessary. It just says play b3, completely ignore everything here. But sure, okay. But white decides to crush here, and for a moment, my heart stopped actually because, well, in a manner of speaking, because I'm like, wait, did I just blunder Tinue? But no, this is a piece short, right? It's only 3, not 4. So it is a common Tinue pattern, though, of course. And even if it wasn't, I guess I have this, right? But this is not a super happy move to make. But then once I realized that it was only 3 and not 4, I was like, well, okay, let's dance. As before, he throws down, and here. I end up getting the weakness back almost immediately, and we're playing this game where my capstone ends up kind of having more central control. I mean, yeah, I decided to take here because the capstone is pinned, taking advantage of the fact that this has never happened, right? Oops. So he walls me. I thought this was kind of passive. So I was not a fan of this move. So, well, I was a fan from my point of view. I was happy to see it. And I am down some reserves, but I'm like, okay, well, we'll play. And here's the interesting part about this situation up here. I said, well, okay, at worst, so if here, 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 he cashes out, this ends up being kind of aggressive on the top. Yeah, maybe I can cover. But it also gives him some FCD, so I was thinking, okay, so I can probably just wall it and be okay. It's no worse in terms of profit, walling versus giving him the throw. And if he wants to stop me from doing it, I can actually even run away. Maybe. Although I get walled, perhaps. So I was like, well, we'll see. So anyway, I'm building in the center. And now I'm starting to get vertical. And then here's where I block him. Alien was impressed with this move at how mean it was, and from him, that's a high compliment. um, just kind of sucking all the life out of the game. And from here, we're kind of just playing flats. Although I find this cute anyway. This is the case. This is the case a lot of times. It's sort of like in Alien's games against Mirgrels. He was once you get up enough pieces, you do tend to have tricks like this. So it's a cute little two moved anyway. The next game was the game I lost. In this game, I joked that I lost in 6 moves because I kind of did. I got edge crawled. Will give me some criticism for e4 versus c5. I was thinking, I don't know, which way do you want to block, this way or this way? I don't know. Maybe c5 is more natural, but I played e4. And then I was instantly regretting it because this is a big problem. If if this you just give a strong capstone, you're in big trouble, right? At some point. And he doesn't even have to take it back immediately, obviously. Depends on the immediate position. He's only 1 move away from taking a road threat, so I need to be able to cut him off next turn. And Will was suggesting something like wall here. The bot says cap here. These are all, I mean, I don't love these moves because I feel like you just get slaughtered down the middle. Like, a white has a perfect pivot to a central attack, but maybe, okay. Maybe you're surviving. I don't know. It's probably better than what I did in the game, of course. What I did in the game is this awful move, SD6. The issue is when you play a wall, it's the only word I didn't say. When you play a capstone and you're intending to capture, you're actually saying, I don't want this square. I'm giving up this square because whenever I take, white can fill it in behind me. And white plays c6. So this means by playing cd6, I actually get neither c6, neither of c6 and d6, which means that white is still happily edge crawling me. And I saw this in the game. I just didn't see what was better to do. I was like, well, maybe I just hope he doesn't play c6, I guess. And I end up with this really horrible formation. And I started to get some. So there's a big weakness here. But my capstone's in the corner, so I need to sort of triangulate this. Yeah, he kept putting me in tack. I wanted to get some moment, if he gives me a second to breathe. I want to play something like this and threaten tack and also to crush, and then I crush, and then maybe I can make something happen actually from here. He has to spend a turn walling, and then I come back up, or whatever I do. So maybe I can make it happen, but Archie was very prudent. He what's the real game here? Real game. In the real game, he keeps putting me in tack and putting me in tack, so I never have time to implement my plan. And then as soon as I would be able to, he preemptively takes first, and I'm like, damn. So I'm feeling a bit stuck here, and I have to implement my plan even though it's not tack, which allows him to bury me in the corner. But I mean, I still fight back a little bit, but the deficit ends up being a little bit too much to overcome. Um, he had various ways of winning more easily, but I mean, sorry, he had various weaknesses he could maybe recapture anyway, but as the game played out, he just has a one flat advantage. So, an opening mistake, it happens. I'm not proud of the game, but like I said, Archie played it well, so it's all fine. Then finally, um, I got another white game, and here, again, Archie does not play the suggested move of e4. Well, Willem's suggested move, I should say, and plays this. So I say, once again, I'm going to play e4, and he lets me take e5 and threatening to cut. And I'm thinking, I kind of want to beat him in the way that he beat me, just like an edge crawl killer. So I go ahead and make this box. The bot doesn't recommend it, but once I achieve f6, I get my capstone in. I'm threatening various tactics against him, also kind of cutting off all of his initiative. He's forced to make some captures. Do I play e6? Yeah, and he gets this formation. So this is the good cut formation, right? But the rest of his position is kind of bad, right? So yes, he got this successfully, and maybe I can never take f5. But his offense is not so good. So here I spent some time making sure that this worked and making sure which side I wanted to wall on. The bot says, forget it, just take it. But I go this way. I was happy to see another wall here. Pinned. So I can't crush or anything. But here, at this point, I unpin myself. Archie sees that and repins me. But now I once again unpin, and this is trouble. So black has to voluntarily move out of the way, which gives me d3 again for free. And I wasn't too unhappy to see this wall, I don't think. And here, I kind of just have enough firepower. It's not a big lead, of course. When he places, it will be 12 plus 2 is 14 to 15. So it's not a huge lead, but I'm still pressing. I have no weaknesses on the board besides this kind of useless c6 one, and I can still harass his various walls and maybe I messed around a little bit at the end, not intentionally, but here Archie gives me the choice if I want a road or a flat one. So I say, okay, I'll take the road. But yeah, that is all of the games of the quarterfinals in an hour and a half. So I don't know if this was informative because maybe it's too fast to be informative, but it's a nice little roundup. And I don't know. Let me know if you'd rather I take deeper dives into fewer games or if this fast format is good. But yeah, we end up 3-0, 3-0, 2.5, 1.5, and 3-1 are the final scores. And the next round will be Alien and Pluto against Alien against Pluto and Tones versus myself. So uh, yeah, so that wraps it up, and I will catch everyone on the flip side.